All right, I want to start today's video with a quote from last night. Someone wrote this: "Don't underestimate how diabolical that orange can actually be." Even though they had a sweeping win last night for the blue side, the reality is that things are going to get much worse before they get any better. And the reason for that is because people are committed to doing evil, and that means that the suffering of the poor is going to continue indefinitely. And I feel it. I can't sleep. I keep waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm fearful of losing everything and returning back to the street. There are way too many homeless people right now, average looking homeless people, for you, yourself, not to be afraid of what might happen to you. And that's a job loss, an eviction, and homelessness that quickly. You don't pay your rent, they got you out on the street in 2 weeks. It happens fast, people. And for most of us, we don't have any saved up money. We don't have anyone that's going to let us borrow rent money. We don't know anyone that has that much money. And everyone's living in the same deep fear of losing everything. You ever notice how every job interview feels like an ex trying to convince you they've changed? They promise growth, flexibility, and competitive pay, then hand you a lanyard, a headset, and emotional debt. We live in a country where ambition is taxed, dreams are leased, and motivation sold by the hour. It's not that people don't want to work, it's that work stopped wanting people. As I've said many times, we don't need jobs. We need money. No one wants to work anymore. Not for what's out there, not the type of jobs that are out there. Go on Indeed and find me a job that actually looks like you wouldn't be selling your soul to Satan for 25 cents an hour. Because that's what it is. You get into any job, whether it's Taco Bell, a laundromat, a car wash, hell, even the guy that has to scrape the stains off the floor in an adult shop. That's what we become. There are no such things as good jobs, as living wages for regular, ordinary people. You don't climb the ladder anymore. You bounce around like a human ping pong, or what is that? A human pinball machine. You bounce from one crappy job to another, to another, to another, and then you go down the hole, and it ends. 60 years go by and you close your eyes and that's it. You never got to enjoy a single day in your entire life. Like I said, every day is the worst day of my entire life. Every morning when I open my eyes, I tell myself, I don't want to do this anymore. My rear can't take any more of fleece. Every day he gets thicker and thicker and thicker in my booty. It just can't handle it. At 8 a.m., when my hands are over the fryolator, and I know what time it is, and I know I can't get out of the way because I have a chain locked me into the fryolator, you just kind of squirm like a worm on a hook waiting for the fish to come. It's inevitable, but you just have to give in. Relax, because remember, the more you fight it, the longer it takes. That was actually a comment someone left yesterday, which I thought was ingenious. Let's get into talking point number one. We didn't lose ambition. Ambition got repossessed. They told us to chase dreams, then tripled the rent, sold us Wi-Fi instead. Every job post wants passion, but pays in panic attacks and leftover. So now people don't chase purpose. They chase peace. You can't dream big when the system invoices you for breathing. I really like that line. Post wants passion. Remember what I wrote a couple of weeks ago? I talked about, and it's one of my most popular videos ever. They want passion for the minimum wage. And you're just like, you show up at work, you're like, most of the time you don't even know where you are, and they want passion. When you're looking at your bank account on your phone and seeing it going down in real time, every breath you take costs you 10 cents. And at the end of the day, you're negative. And then you got to go home to your rotten crap apartment in a bad part of town and wonder what's going to happen. Is my Promobile going to run out of gas on the way there? Is it going to just explode into just smithereens? You're always wondering what's the next bad thing that's going to happen. And it's very true because I've been there. You're on the street, you don't have anywhere to go, and you imagine how can you possibly make this worse? And then you close your eyes and it's worse. Now you're shackled to someone's wall in the basement and you're wondering, well, how did this happen? You met a stranger on the internet. Well, you're just going to have to write it out and see how it turns out. And that's what every job that you have turns into. You're just going to write it out and see what happens. But at the end of it, you're going to try to block it out like every other relationship you've ever had in your life. Talking point number 2. America doesn't inspire workers anymore. It sedates them. Companies hand out pizza parties like morphine drips to dying motivation. You get a $25 DoorDash gift card for serving burnout. They call that culture. It's not a workplace. It's a hospice for human potential. And the only thing that dies faster than morale is the health insurance. Yesterday, I was trying to set up a dentist appointment because I haven't been to the dentist in over a year. Why? Just don't have the time. And frankly, it's not a high priority thing when you're spending all of your time wondering what to do next. Because that's how I feel. I stopped prioritizing health a long, long time ago. I stopped taking my medication, all my medications, because I wanted to make certain that I had a supply of them that would last me long enough to find another job. And so I kept hoarding and hoarding and hoarding my medication until I have buckets of it. And now I'm like, uh-oh, what should I do with this? So I just recently started taking my medication. I've had to ease my way back into it by cutting my pills in half. But that's what you do when you don't know what's going to happen to you next. You start hoarding everything, even emotionally. You start caring less about day-to-day activities. I mean, I've eaten ramen every single day for 6 months now. I just finished eating my first bowl of the day, and I know there might be a second and a third. Why? Because I can't justify spending money on dirt. And we all feel that way. No one wants to eat anymore. Imagine that. We've become such a low desire society that nobody wants to eat anymore because we want to ration out our food because we know that there's soon going to be a day in which we're going to open the fridge and there's nothing there. Hell, I'm already there. People asking me all the time, hey, why do you keep paying to run your fridge if you don't have any food in it? The question kind of makes sense and doesn't make sense at the same time, but it's a great metaphor for life. Why do you keep running it if there's nothing inside? There's nothing good for us inside life. There aren't enough days off. There aren't enough vacations. There isn't enough savings. There's no significant other that you actually want. I mean, it's just like everything comes back to getting what you don't want. You have the job you don't want. You have the relationship you don't want. You have the bank account you don't want. You have the car you don't want. You have the housing you don't want. It's basically life has been hollowed out. All you get is a uniform, a name tag, and a reminder that you're supposed to smile while you're bent over. All day long, you wipe your brow at the fry-later, making fries, and you don't know what else to do. What else is there to do? You can't just walk off the job and say everything's going to be okay, like all these people out here with their toxic positivity on how being laid off is going to open new doors. No, it's not. Right now, you get laid off, there's no unemployment, there's no food stamps, and you're going to be in a world of hurt. And I feel for those hundreds of thousands of people that have been laid off while the corporations have record profits. It's sickening. But that's the world we live in. It's not a good place to be. The world has become very diabolical. And the people at the top pulling the strings want to make it worse for every single person that isn't rich. Don't have money? Figure it out. We don't want food stamps. We want you to have a third and fourth job. Why? Because the more you work, the more they win. Remember, proles, working hard will make you rich. Talking point number 3. Hope used to be free. Now it's a paywall. Behind therapy, copays, rent hikes, and maybe next year, desire isn't gone. It's gentrified. The poor can't afford to want anything but stability, and the rich are too bored to appreciate it. So the whole country is stuck in emotional foreclosure, scrolling for something to feel again, but the Wi Fi keeps buffering. Wow, that was hard to read. It was really hard to read. But hope hope has left this world a long time ago. When you're in your mid 30s and you're still wearing a goofy hat and a name tag, and you wonder when you're going to win at life, when you're going to get to that job that finally allows you to relax, have flexible time, spend time with the kids you don't have, sit down with the pet you can't afford, and wonder why you're still scratching your rear end on a couch when you can't afford to watch television. Because even watching television, anytime you're sitting on your lazy rear, is a moment that you should be out there making money. Not because you want to, but because you have to. The same way that when I get home tired after removing the Soul Suck 3000 from my rear at the end of the day, after it sucked all my soul out to nothing, I come home, I sit down, and the last thing I want to do is work more. But guess what? Every time I don't work more, you're losing money. And the money that you don't even have. Because remember, you're going to get to Friday, you're going to look at your tiny little paycheck, see how how badly it's all shriveled up, it's covered in dirt and debris, and you wonder, was it worth it? You know the answer to that. No paycheck for the proletariat is worth the suffering that you endure, the humiliation, the degradation. Everything about life is about giving it to you, and you never get to give it back. You just have to assume the position, and life takes you every single day. It's not just a Monday through Friday thing anymore. It's a Saturday and Sunday thing. It's working for DoorDash in the mornings and picking up a shift at some restaurant in the evenings. You're never supposed to rest, but you're always supposed to keep smiling. Keep the hope alive. Because if once you fully lose the hope and you can't smile anymore, the world doesn't want you in it. Because if you can't smile through the pain, what good are you? All right, let's get into our closing monologue today. Hopefully, we have enough time today to do a Green Babe introduction. We didn't become lazy, we became realistic. The dream didn't die, it just got priced out of our zip code. So now we scroll instead of strive, laugh instead of plan, survive instead of thrive, and they call it freedom. I have never felt a sense of freedom in my entire adult life. From the moment I had to enter the workforce till this very moment now, I don't understand what freedom is. Is freedom the ability to call out sick when you know you're not going to get paid, and therefore you're going to be sick, but you're going to be even sicker when you notice that your paycheck is missing a whole day on Friday? That's the world that we live in. You're not supposed to get sick. You're not supposed to show up at work and feel the way you actually feel. Everything about our lives is fake. Your interactions with the other NPCs, your interaction with every part of the world. We know that having to eat ramen for every meal isn't normal. But they've tried to normalize this lifestyle for all of us. The lifestyle where you can't win, where your only choice is to buy a lottery ticket, hoping that the pain and suffering will end by scratching off those little numbers. But every time you do it, you come to the same conclusion. There's no escape from the wage cage. It's you for life, living in cell block B, enjoying the open air prison we call life. There's nothing good here for us. Unless you had the fortune of being born rich, this world has nothing for you. If as an infant I had known that I was going to come out into this world, I would have crawled right back inside and said, hell no, I'm not going out there. Or worse yet, I would time travel and punch my dad right where I came out of and make certain, hey, don't force me to live like this for the rest of my life. If you don't have money, don't have children. Because all you're doing is forcing them into the same life that they don't want. No one wants to come out here to work 3 jobs and still wonder how they're going to pay their rent. Wonder why they have to keep getting hungry. Wonder why they always have to be alone. Because nobody wants you. Nobody wants a guy who can't afford a house and a nice car and have a big salary. Life doesn't want you. Those slave owners want you because your desperation means cash for them. Every time they post a job that requires a master's degree and a bunch of certifications and 10 years of experience, they know that you may not take it, but Joe Blow over there in the corner might. And they're willing to wait until you're desperate enough to take that job. And there will always be someone desperate to take any job. Maybe not so much the meat packing, hospitality, and farm jobs, but there's always someone out there to take that job at the bottom of the mailroom because they're going to look at it as opportunity. Remember, they don't want you looking at it as a job so much. They want to give you the opportunity to make the minimum wage. They offer it to you on a golden platter and make it seem like you're ungrateful when you won't eat from it. But that's life. And there are no alternatives. All we can do is wait it out and see how bad it gets. And remember, if you're not scared of this job economy, you should be. And if you are, you're not scared nearly enough.